Alright, we're back with part 3. At this point, we've got our drawing, and what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over and view it through our light table. Hopefully the camera will be able to pick it up. You can use the red pencil for when you're doing your edits, but for simplicity's sake, and so you can see it, I'm going to use the black pencil. So you turn on your light table, and as you can see, I've already started. And what I wanted to do is repair any things that don't look quite right. In this case, it was the eyes, so I moved it over that way a little bit. So now we're going to add in the mouth and the cheekbone, and that too I had to kind of scoot over because it was too far to the right. Add in some more of the fur. This is the step where you can start adding in some of those real small details. There's no need to do that in the beginning because you may end up erasing it anyway. So save yourself the trouble and don't add the details until you're really sure of where you want them. Add some ear fur. And there are lots of styles of drawing. It's really up to you. This one is going to be somewhere in between toony and realistic, so I'm adding lots of fur. And you don't have to trace directly over what you've drawn before. You're still allowed to be creative and add new details if you want. Adding in the chest, the shoulders, and down to the feet. And later on I'll do some tutorials on anatomy, because I know that's something that's really hard for a lot of folks. It still gets me from time to time, and it's always good to go back to the original subject matter, like photos or movies. If you can take your own photos of things, that's great. Okay, we are back. As you can see, I went ahead and finished up the drawing, and it looks pretty good. If you have any questions in the steps that I didn't go over, which was really just pretty much more of the same, feel free to email me. So now you have a wolf. So what are you going to do with it? You have a couple different options. Depending upon the style that you want, you could leave it thin-lined like this. A lot of anime does thin lines. Most animation, even in America, has fairly thin lines. But something you can also do is work on the line weight. That can sometimes give your artwork, that extra oomph. You can also give it, a real hard, thicker line that you see some comics have. It's really kind of just up to you and which style you like best. But having some line weight is always good, and you even see that in a lot of books. Line weight is something that you really have to work on, and it's a matter of practice. Generally, curves, you'll want to put a little bit of thicker line in there towards the beginning and let it taper as you get towards the end of the curve. Also, overlapping items, like if this leg was in the back, so I'd probably want to keep it nice and thin lined. Thicker lines come to the front, thinner lines kind of recede. So for this one, I think I'm going to thicken up the chin line just a wee bit to make sure that it's obviously in front of the rest of the chin. And I'll make the shoulder blade here a little bit thicker. And you can do this when you're inking, but sometimes it's nice to go ahead and do it in the pencil stage, and that way you can figure out where you want your thick and thin lines. Let's see here, and I'm going to re-emphasize some of these lines here to make it obvious that it's in front of that back leg there. And it's good to taper the lines a lot if you don't want to have it all one thickness, because then it ends up looking kind of flat. If you ever do any figure drawing, you'll want to do a lot of line weight. Okay, thicken up some of these feet. There you go. Thicken that up some too. And there you go. And I'm gonna let this be a white wolf, so I'm not gonna put any designs, but if you wanted to, you could, you know, do little lines here and around this way to show where you wanted the color differences to be. And that is one way to draw a wolf. In my next video, I think I'll go over how to ink a drawing, and since there are lots of different types of ink and inking tools, we'll go over all the different types of inking you can do. I hope you had fun. I know I did. It was really fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye!